I grew up watching a lot of the horror movies from like the 80s and 90s that are almost like, looking back, I didn't really think of it at the time, probably because I was a kid, so they were scared of me, but they're almost like comedy horror, right? Like Freddy Krueger is like a comedy horror guy. If you've seen like Nightmare on Elm
It's a little tongue in cheek. He's made jokes and stuff.
Or Child's Play, Chucky is like it's like they always have like a joke before he kills somebody or some shit. You know?
Sure. Because like right in the heart of that, you had that whole thing with Congress and the MPAA where they were they were dragging musicians and actors before Congress to testify about gore and stuff. And the MPAA cracked down so hard they would make like a Jason movie or whatever. They would be like, okay, let's edit this down so that we can get an R, and it'd come back X, like not even NC-17. Like they would have to cut so much out. They were pretty tame. I watch a lot of those 80s horror movies. Like Freddy, the first Nightmare on Elm Street's a really good movie. The second movie is just a big gay allegory and has very little to do with actual like Freddy Krueger and his mythos. You got to go like 2 more movies before you get to another good Freddy Krueger movie.
Yeah, most of Freddy Krueger was I didn't like those.
I
didn't like the Halloweens either. I didn't think those were scary.
Halloween 1 is good, and Halloween 2 is like self-contained. It like actually is a direct sequel, so I like that. After that, I stopped watching.
Fair enough. What is a horror movie you like? Like that you're like creme de la creme. That's a good horror. It spooks me. It frightens me. Good plot. Something like Sinister, or what's it called? Insidious or Sinister. What was that other one? The Conjuring.
The Conjuring is one of my favorite modern ones. What's his name? John. It's not John Woo, is it? I think that might be the director. It's really good. I liked it a lot. It relies on some jump scares, and I think it gets a bad rap for that because I think it earns those jump scares with the atmosphere. And but more recently, like we were talking about Hereditary. And the way that Hereditary and Midsommar, and films like The Witch, have this really creeping sort of atmospheric thing that this, from the very beginning, they're sort of putting you in this place where joy and happiness don't exist in this world that you're in. So we're starting way down here, and just wait, we're going further. Like there is no happy sunshine, teenagers in a high school enjoying their class, and there's no calm before the storm. We're starting out in a shitty place, and wait, it gets worse.
Yeah. Those are great movies. I like The Conjuring too. I liked both of the Conjuring movies. Maybe there's more, I don't know. But then those other ones that were like synonyms that both came out like around 2010, Insidious and Sinister.
Yeah.
Those were pretty fucking good too. I liked those.
So I get them a little mixed up. The one with Ethan Hawke, it's the one where you have the Bagul demon who makes children kill their own families, and he records it. So he like
there's like the tree with the hanging people that you find in the film. Yeah.
Now the first half of that film, before you realize there is a Bagul demon that looks silly, is excellent. It's masterful. And Ethan Hawke's a good enough actor that he can carry the whole thing on his shoulders. But once you see that there's a Bagul demon and like you see it, it's kind of downhill from there. But it was a scary movie to me at the time. I remember when I watched it's not The Ring. What is the Japanese horror movie that has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it? And it's got the little cat boy that's going whatever. Grudge. That fucked me up when I was 18.
The Grudge got you?
I remember
Grudge. I thought it was stupid.
It's something about the way the little girl like moved all disjointedly. Like really threw me off. But The Exorcist, when I watched it for the first time, it scared me more than I think it scares most people, especially like today, like 20 years after I was a kid, because I was religious at that age. Like I wasn't an altar boy or anything. I didn't think too seriously about it, but I believed in God. And so I was like, I mean, the devil exists. I mean, demons exist. Like I know they do. And here there's a really good example of like what that can. I don't know that was a scary movie.
That was where like they like blacked out with makeup, like the eyes and the like white face of like that little Asian boy who like looked dead. Yeah, and he was like crawling on the ceiling. Yeah, that was all right. I liked The Ring a lot more. That came out when I was like in middle school, and I remember like it being the movie of middle school where everyone was like, "Oh, it's the scariest movie of all time." Like, but of course we had no perspective on scary movies, but it was the scariest to us. But I haven't seen The Ring in fucking 15, 16 years, but I remember liking it at the time when I saw it. I thought it was really scary.
Yeah, different things scare me. Like I've never been afraid of the slashers because it's like, I grew up on a farm. Like if somebody tries to come in our house with a knife, it's like, what were you thinking, boy? It's just not going to end well. So the idea,
free knife.
It's literally what you're thinking as a country boy, like on a farm. It's like, so somebody's going to walk up the driveway, past the dogs, break through our big ass door. And like, what? We're not going to be loaded and ready. Like, what is it? Like, you're just not afraid of the guy with a knife.
I don't know, Destiny. Are you a horror movie guy? What do you enjoy?
I grew up watching every fucking horror movie, all of the classics from the 80s, like all the Hellraisers, the Child's Plays, the Jasons, like every fucking classic horror movie. I watched a lot of the gore porn ones because they're interesting, I guess. But I think if you've I don't know if you guys ever did the fucking weird shit where you watched all the actual like crazy shit from like Ogrish and like the really old gore sites and stuff.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't.
I watched one about a year ago where this guy's kidnapped these two Japanese people, a man and a woman. Not only they know each other, and he's got them on these stretchers facing each other.
Oh, you're talking about the movie, the one that ends with him cutting her head off, and then as she's flying through the air, she bites him to kill him as her head is flying ooff.
Well, that's cool if that happened. I didn't make it to the end because I got to a part right there's a part right at the beginning.
You got to well, go ahead.
Like he finger bangs her until she squirts on his face, and then he jerks the guy off then until he comes on her. And I was like, oh no. And I fast forwarded a little, and he's about to cut her nipple off with some scissors. And I was like, what am I watching?
And that movie gets
a horror movie.
That movie gets so much worse. There's a part where he's like driving nails through the guy's dick with a hammer to like cut it off, and it's just like the most insanely ridiculous fucking movie in the world. That's one of the like just the crazy.
What is this movie called?
I don't even know what it's called. It's weird as fuck.
Damn, I want to watch it.
Like I get on like Amazon has so many little subgenres and channels that I like go through these little deep dives. Like that's how I found that Spanish language film where the girl is having sex with a tentacle alien.
Jesus.
That's a horror movie. Like it kills and rapes like a couple people, the tentacle alien does, but she's like down with it. And it's like, it looks like one of those wild tentacle animation porns that I'm sure none of you have ever seen. So I'll describe them thoroughly. There's tentacles supporting the woman, and there's tentacles in every orifice, and she's really having a good time. And that's what this movie is. It was called like Untamed, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
I think my two favorite of all the things I've seen, and people will laugh at me for these, my two favorite horror movies are, one was, and I swear by this movie, and fuck everybody doesn't like it, okay? The very first Paranormal Activity.
Really it's incredibly scary.
It's a good movie.
It was a creepy, when the guy comes in, when the priest, because everything seems kind of comical, you don't really know what's going on. When the priest comes into that house the second time and he's like, I have to leave, like I'm freaking out or whatever. Like that movie just sets up the atmosphere. So, and they made that movie for like $32,000.
The scariest part of that movie to me is when he goes up into the attic and suddenly our two, because being together like is such a, you feel safe. Like
of course.
Yeah.
Like I've had that where I'm watching a scary movie, but I've got my girlfriend with me. Now she's not going to protect me from fuck all. If anything, she'll get in the way while I'm fighting it. But her being there is like, all right, we're together.
Yeah.
So like when you have that with that couple in Paranormal Activity, when they're together, they're a team. If I see something, then you see it. There will be no paranoia. We're like, did she really see it? Like we're together. But he leaves her to go into the attic to check on the noise, and it's. And you don't really get to go. He can't really tell what's up there. And it's like, if it takes him, she can't help. And if it takes her, he can't help. They're so close to being locked away from each other, and him being in that act and her down here. And neither one of those is such. That was the scariest moment of that to me.
And there are so many like creepy moments.
He finds a photograph up there that can't exist. That's what happens. And then I think right after that, maybe there's a big jump where something drags her away. Like something like that.
Why can't the photograph exist?
Because it burned up in her house fire when she was a child. It burned in that house to nothing, and now it exists up there as like this charred remnant. And it was
is the first movie the one where at one point it's either the husband or wife that walks into the backyard and is like just sitting there, hanging out there
until
the other one comes out.
Really
I remember
weird.
Yeah, I remember that part scaring me a lot. I think it was the husband that was out there, and he was just like dead-eyed, staring at nothing until the wife comes up, or maybe the wife.
The wife is sitting on a bench. Oh, there was the one too where the wife is over the husband, just staring at him while
that's
fucking weird. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Another one of my top 2 favorites is super great, borderline campy, good special effects. There's a movie called Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen Drag Me to Hell. I
really solid, super good movie. Really funny ending. Everything about when she's fighting the woman in the fucking grave and everything. That movie is really well done and really funny. Those are like my 2, I think, like my favorite, like newerish, like horror movies. I think do things like really well. I enjoy those 2 a lot.
I almost put like Drag Me to Hell in the same category. Not the same category.
It's like comedy horror.
What is it called? Something versus the Evil Dead. Or Ash versus Evil Dead, or Chuck and someone fight the zombies, whatever.
It's like Dale and Ted versus Evil or something like that.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it's called. Like, and that's actually a really good movie. I really like it because it's like it's making fun of it the whole time. Like they're in the boat outside, like on the river, and then all the kids are swimming. And they're like, I don't want to upset them. I don't want them to think we're spying on them or nothing. And then the kids like start dying, and they're like, if we get out and help, they're gonna know we were looking at them, and they were looking.
It's this thing where like it's very meta. It's the same way Cabin in the Woods was like meta, like they're literally going through the tropes and all the multiple horror enemies. Like this movie is like that. They can't help that they seem like the bad guys from horror movies. They just seem like hillbilly rednecks, but really they're just like 2 good old boys who bought a cabin together and they want to fix her up.
It's a tremendous movie. Like Tucker and Dale versus Evil is very funny. I love horror. Like I want a movie that's going to scare the shit out of me. Like that's going to really fucking scare me. And I feel like once you've watched enough horror movies, that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's like
I don't know if it's
tolerance.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an unpopular take because it's an M. Shemaimai or whatever the fuck. I remember thinking The First Signs was a really freaky movie.
I love it.
Because that was one popular one. I wasn't.
I think you have to get like halfway into the movie before you finally see the fucking alien dude and the shitty.
Further.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I think movies that do that atmosphere really well, I think are. I give a lot of to him.
Signs was one of his great movies, and like everything tied together at the end. I guess it's pretty.
Yeah, it was cute.
Right in reverse.
At
the time, I really loved it.
I think some people don't like it because it's too formulaic, and it's like, look, it's beautiful that way. I like it. It can be simple, but Mel Gibson is so likable in that movie, and he carries that thing so well. And the kids are excellent actors. That Kieran McCullen kid and
his
whoever
brother did a great job with the cleft lip. Or
Joaquin Phoenix.
Was that Joaquin Phoenix? Wow.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
he's got the hair lip.
Kills it, and a little supporting, and Shyamalan's in there, and he does fine in his little role or whatever. Even the army recruiter down, when Joaquin Phoenix goes to town, he's like describing what the alien invasion would be like. That's a cool little gritty moment. They should have had Arlie Ermey for that part. It would have been perfect.
When they tell him to swing, I was inspired.
Swing away.
Yeah, swing away.
And that music. The music goes and it dong, and he fucking swings. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It was more of a
mystery thriller
because Mel Gibson like runs in and scoops the kid up, and the alien's attention goes to Joaquin Phoenix. It's a great scene.
Kyle, would you put it in horror? Or would you put it in like mystery thriller?
No, it's horror. It's like aliens are coming in the night to take your children. It's a global invasion of when it there's that.
I need
to
rewatch it. Maybe I'm wrong.
There's that moment where Joaquin Phoenix is just about to go into full tinfoil cap mode, and he's watching Mexican TV footage of an alien like running like through a garden or something.
That's such a freaky fucking video. It's the first time you see anything, and it is paused, and you can't see what's going on. The kids, and then the thing just walks by the camera. You're like, ooh, that's fucking weird. Yeah.
Not only do you do that, Joaquin Phoenix is terrified. Joaquin Phoenix he makes you laugh. He's like, "Vamonos, children, vamonos!"
Oh yeah, vamonos. Yeah, you're shouting at him.
And you get a little chuckle, and then you see it, and he goes, "Oh!" like that, like really convincingly. He covers his mouth. He recoils in terror, and you do too, because you just saw something move in a non-human, slanky, reptilian-esque kind of camouflage, creepy chameleon way, and it's like they're here already. They're among us. The scouts are here. That's what's in our fucking yard. It's scary when they run around the house yelling and like they meet each other, and then they look up, and you hear it's like, oh shit. And I love the whole conversation they have with the sheriff when she shows up, and she's like, I saw these Kenyan high jumpers jump clean over your head, and Mel Gibson's like, well, okay, if we set aside Kenyan super athletes in the backyard last night pulling hijinks, what else are we looking at here? It's no, I dig that one a lot.
You're probably right. I haven't seen that since, when did that come out? 2004. Probably saw it last 2005.
It's the problem is that like and this sucks because it might be an age thing. I think there might be some. I don't know if I was watching Signs for the first time today. I don't know if I'd like it, but if I watch it again, I know I'll like it. Just because of how different media is today, I feel like it's probably harder for people that aren't used to enjoying kind of like slower things to enjoy those things. They're just going to feel really boring. I think. I'm not sure.
I think it hits you often enough to keep you interested, because remember, like, you've got scenes like the boy killing the German Shepherd with the skewer, and then you've got like Mel Gibson seeing the alien on the roof but not being sure what that is a scary fucking moment, because you guys know, but maybe Destiny doesn't. My biggest fear is fucking aliens. Those gray aliens with the big fucking eyes. Okay. I don't believe in demons and ghouls and goblins, and I'm not scared of
just aliens for this genius.
And look, I would love for you guys to read a headline about me strangling a knife-wielding assailant to death, because that's what would fucking happen. But
it turned out it was a well-meaning Kenyan trying to jump over.
I'm gonna grab my duo bell and turn it to 10 and go to work. like I'm not worried about that either. But like a fucking extraterrestrial showing up in his like interdimensional light speed craft or whatever, and beaming me up for a little operation is like my biggest fucking fear, because I don't have shit for that. Not that guy. Show me the fire in the sky.
Kind of a pussy. You're scared of that guy?
Kyle, that's what you're afraid of, you pussy?
I can punt that. Kyle. Show me the fire in the sky aliens, because those are the scary fuckers.
Oh, is that the guys that do the eye drill thing in that fucking movie or whatever?
First they like throw like a handful of shit in his mouth for like no good reason, and he's like like vomiting up the shit, and then they like, that like fetish thing where they vacuum seal you to a bed with like that.
Yeah, I remember.
They like do that to him inexplicably, and then haphazardly use like the least sci-fi knife you've ever seen to cut a mouth hole in it, and then they go. I think that's when they throw the shit in his mouth, like, and they're just doing awful things to him, and it's believable-esque as a kid anyway. When I watched this shit, yeah, look at that bitch. Yeah. He's scarier in HD.
Yeah, no nose.
Yeah,
I mean that just looks like Groot.
It does look like Groot. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, Groot's problem though.
That's Groot's a nice guy. Groot wouldn't tie you to a bed and vacuum seal you.
He might.
All right, to make that go away, I'm gonna have nightmares.
You couldn't stop.
No, that's what I'm scared of, because I figure I can handle most of the other things at least
what's
conceivably.
Behind aliens for you? Like right behind aliens, what's the next big fear? You said you don't like slashers. But for me, like I'm not scared at all of the demon alien movies. It's more like the insidious person you wouldn't expect that's doing fucked up shit behind the scenes. That's what's more scary.
Body horror is terrifying.
Like American Horror Story. I'm sorry, American Psycho. Like that's a spookier story in a way, because it's about a guy who just fucking kills people for fun, and you don't expect it.
You just got. I mean, come on, you'd expect it if you spent 5 minutes with that fucking guy. That guy was weird.
That is so fucking true, that people are like, oh, Patrick Bateman was flying under the radar, and then like he gets interviewed by the cops, and he's like, I dabble in rape. And they're like, all right, on your way then.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is that like I think the interpretation a lot of people have is that he didn't kill anybody in that movie. That he's just
he's just fucking crazy. Yeah,
like none of that happened. A lot of it didn't happen.
I've read that theory. I don't think it makes sense.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Killings that he didn't do because he like wakes up after something, or like shit wasn't how it was supposed to be. So at least a few of them didn't happen. Like I think the homeless guy killing, doesn't he like confront all the cops afterwards, and then after he like wakes up or something? Or
and just so we're clear, like if you consider American Psycho 2 to be canon, then it just
there's an American Psycho 2.
It has Mila Kunis in it. Don't even acknowledge it as a movie.
You guys are scared of all the wrong things. Like Kyle's scared of aliens. Someone else is scared of American Psycho. I'm scared of like the IRS, YouTube's automated strike system, shit like that is what keeps me up at night.
Have you heard that old R.I.P. Norm Macdonald bit where he's like, everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid of terrorists. More likely than that is you're going to be attacked and killed by your own heart. Imagine that. You're afraid of terrorists, and then your own heart kills you. I was just laughing my ass off.